And we're back here live for Game 4 of this weekend series between the Hutchinson Blue Dragons and the Longview Lakers. Hutchinson has taken the first 3 of this series, winning the game earlier today in walk-off fashion, 11-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Here's Dylan Jackson leading off with a bunt single. Dylan was 3 for 3 in the first game of this series today, or of today's doubleheader. Nice job of getting that bunt down because the pitch was well inside. But he was able to get his hands behind it and get the ball down. Dragons have a little bit of a different lineup for this game. And another bunt. And that's probably why Longview is taking the approach they are. Across the infield, Shane Cooper sitting out this game, so Michael Hellman moves to shortstop. Caden Doge moves from third to second. Brady Hoover moves from first to third. And Ryan Steckline is in the game at first. So Longview probably putting this infield to the test, going bunt in their first 2 at-bats. Dalton Bielmer now at the plate. So Dylan Jackson with a bunt single, Cameron Hillbrenner with a sacrifice to move Jackson to second. 5-3 on the putout. Bielmer sends this one well hit to left, but Bobby Morganson tracks it down for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Jordan Barba. Barba 1 for 3 in the game earlier today. High and tight for ball 1. Grady Kirkard getting the Game 4 start for the second weekend in a row. This one's popped up by the Longview dugout. Ryan Steckline moves over and makes the catch for the third out of the inning. So Kirkard works around the leadoff bunt single. After half an inning, no score. And welcome back to Hobart-Detter Field. Bottom of the first inning, game 4 of this weekend series. And we'd shared in the top of the inning. Shane Cooper sitting this one out. So that will change the Blue Dragon hitting order. For this one, Nolan Hackle moves from the 4 spot up to the leadoff spot. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Blake Grellhessel, lefty on the mound for the Lakers. Hackle gets this one, sends it past Heriberto Wyatt in left. Hackle's rounded second. He's going to go for third. Wyatt took somewhat of a lackadaisical approach after that one. Nolan Hackle's going to lead things off with a Blue Dragon triple. Wyatt appeared to take somewhat of a bad angle at that one. And once it was over his head, Hackle kicked it into second gear, third gear, and fourth gear and made it easily into third. With a leadoff triple, that'll bring up Michael Hellman. Hellman playing shortstop in this game. First pitch, bunts one foul down the third base line. So the Dragons trying to make something happen right out of the gates. Hellman, the sophomore from Lincoln Pius High School, Lincoln, Nebraska. Swings at this one, fouls it off, 0-2 the count. And Hellman goes down swinging. I believe that's just the 12th time this year Michael has struck out, so not something we're accustomed to seeing. Brings up the left fielder Bobby Morganson. Morganson, the freshman from Omaha. One of, I believe, 10 Cornhuskers on the Blue Dragon roster. Host of players from Nebraska, a couple from New York, a couple from the Netherlands, Canadian, so a very definite international flavor. 1-1 the count to Morganson. Hackle led off the triple. He's at third. All inside. Checked it. Umpire said he did not go around. Bobby takes this one upstairs. 3-1 the count. Hoover's up to the cleanup spot in this game. Divis, your winning pitcher in the game earlier today, Wyatt Divis, is the designated hitter. Ground ball foul in front of the Longview dugout. Coach Cervantes acted like he wanted to get in position for it, but he kept backpedaling, hoping and waiting for a Longview player to come out and take him off the hook, which he did. This one just misses inside. Looks like it's going to be a tough strike zone. That's a pitch everybody, any pitcher and coach wants to get. So Morganson now on at first after the walk. Brings up Brady Hoover. Brady, the redshirt sophomore from Mays, Kansas. Brady 1 for 3 in the first game. Singled, scored a run in the third. It's a sharp grounder to the second baseman. This could be a pair. And they turn the 4-6-3 double play to end the Dragon threat and leave Nolan Hackle at third. So after one complete, we've got no score at Hobart-Detter. Third baseman Jacob Litkin leading off the second inning for the Lakers, facing Grady Kirkhart. Grady making his 8th appearance of the season, his 4th start. 3-1 in those 4 starts, 4.50 ERA. Grady pitched Game 4 of last weekend's series against Garden City, which the Dragons won 14-4. In a run rule to sweep that 4-game series. This is a sharp one off of Hoover. Going to be an error on the third baseman, Brady Hoover. Kind of handcuffed him, bounced over to Michael Hellman, but not in time to get Litkin at first. Heriberto Wyatt up to bat for Longview now with Litkin on first. Ball 1 upstairs. Kirkhart goes to first. Litkin back in time. Today's one of those Chamber of Commerce days. You got visitors in town, you tell them it's like this 365 days a year in Hutchinson, Kansas. There's a sharp foul ball down the third base line by Wyatt. Evens the count at 1-1. Joined in the press box by Blue Dragon women's basketball assistant coach Phil Anderson. Phil and I were talking between games about our good friend Coach Knack. You can see why it is the garden spot of the universe. You'd think Coach Knack would want to be out on a day like today watching Blue Dragon baseball. So if you're tuned in, Danny Knack, there's plenty of room in the press box for you, but we're getting low on peanut M&Ms. 2-1 the count. Kirkhart delivers. Strike. Evens it up 2-2. This one's in the dirt, gets by the catcher Garrett Stevens, allowing Litkin to move up to second on the wild pitch. Full count now to Heriberto Wyatt. Nobody down here in the top of the second. No score between the Lakers and the Blue Dragons. Pitch inside, ball 4. He's going to put runners at first and second with nobody out. Going to bring up the designated hitter, Johnny Luster. Johnny was 0 for 3 in the first game with a pair of strikeouts and a flyout. First round of voting, Johnny's on the all-name team. Dragons in at the corners, looking for the bunt. He's swinging, fouls this one back. Hoover and Steckline both even with the bag. Oh and 1 the count to Luster. Now Luster showing bunt. Pulls it back, squares, pops this one up. Here comes Steckline, makes the catch. Caught that in foul territory, so that's a foul pop-up. Ryan Gracel now up. The first baseman for the Lakers. as he was in game 1. Oh, and 1 the count to Gracel now. Runners at first and second with 1 out. Steckline still in, even at the bag at first. Hoover's back a little deeper at third now. Dragons not expecting the bunt from the 8-hole hitter as he takes strike 2. Luster had that dreaded long walk back to the dugout when you're put up there to bunt, get a bunt down, move runners over, and you pop it up and it gets caught. So you go back, recording an out and not moving the runners. Strike 3 called. Beautiful pitch by Grady Kirkhart. In addition to being quite the pitcher for the Blue Dragons, Grady also serves as the team barber. Learned that trade from his father in Lions. Grady's carried that over. Not just for baseball players, but from other students and student athletes as well, and maybe a few coaches and others. If you know Coach Anderson joining us in the press box, he is not a candidate to be a customer of Grady's. He was a customer. He was a customer of Grady's father, Larry, at Hair Tenders in Lyons. But there's one expense Phil does not have at the grocery store, and that's shampoo. Maybe some turtle wax. 0-2 the count. To the catcher, Josh Cooper, making his first appearance. Strike 3 called. Gets him looking. Kirkhart works out of the 2-on, no-out jam. Go to the bottom of the second, no score. Bottom of the second at Hobart-Detter Field. Wyatt Divis, the winning pitcher from Game 1 of today's doubleheader, and the designated hitter for the Blue Dragons in this game, will lead things off for Hutch. Lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch fouled away. Divis, another one of those Nebraskans on the Blue Dragon roster. Takes this one upstairs, ball 1. Wyatt got his 4th win of the year in Game 1. Swing and a miss, 1-2 the count. Game 1 was an 11-1 Blue Dragon run rule victory in 6 innings. This game scheduled for 9. Here's the 1-2 upstairs. 2-2. Dragons won the pair yesterday, 8-4. Nolan Hoffman getting the win. Dayton Lane the save. Game 2 yesterday. This one hits Divis. So, reaching the Blue Dragon way to lead off the bottom of the second. Now brings up the second baseman, Caden Doge. We've been so used to saying third baseman all season long, we're going to have to adjust with a few of these guys today. But Caden playing second, Michael Hellman playing short, Shane Cooper getting some rest. First pitch, Caden pops it a mile in the air behind the plate, catcher looking for it. Cooper has a beat on it and makes the catch for the out. That will bring up a right fielder, Marquise Doherty. Marquise was the designated hitter in Game 1. 0 for 2, also reached on a walk. Swing and a miss. Game 2 of yesterday's doubleheader. Just an outstanding performance on the mound by Blue Dragons southpaw David Tudhope. Complete game, 9-inning shutout as the Dragons took it 6-0. Strike 2 on the outside corner to Doherty. Divis at first, one away. Each team with a single base hit. No runs. Marquise fouls this one back. Catcher Garrett Stevens on deck for Hutchinson. Scott Wolverton caught the first game. He and Stevens platoon pretty much split the doubleheader. This one sweeping curveball inside to Doherty. Counts now 1-2. Keeping an eye on now a couple of different series taking place. Here's the 1-2, now 2-2. Barton and Colby. Barton's taken the first 3 games of that series and leading in the 4th game 6-3 in the 7th inning. With Barton taking the first 3, they remain 3 back in the loss column. Colby is now 4 back in the loss column to the Blue Dragons. Blue Dragons have 4 conference games remaining at home next weekend versus Pratt. And Doherty looks at that one and he knew it. Goes down looking for the second out. Also keeping an eye on the Dodge City Seward. With Colby falling to 4 back, Dodge is now tied in the loss column. Swing and a miss by Stevens. Dodge is tied in the loss column with Barton, 3 back. So if Seward could take Game 4 of that series over Dodge, it would put Dodge 4 back. Looks to first, Divis back with ease. Stevens was the Game 1 catcher yesterday. Fouls that one at the plate. 0-2 the count. Went 1 for 3 with a single in Game 1 of yesterday's doubleheader. Here's the 0-2. Outside, 1-2. Divis at first was hit by a pitch in his first at bat. Dragons now have 2 outs. And that 2-strike curveball caught Stevens just like it caught Doherty. So a pair of strikeout lookings to end the inning. After 2, we've got no score. Top of the third inning at Hobart-Detter Field, Cary Park in Hutchinson, Kansas. Just across the street from the ballpark's Cary Park Golf Course. Seeing a lot of action today on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Sunny and 69 degrees with barely a breeze. Grady jumps ahead 0-2 on Dylan Jackson. Jackson with a bunt single in his first at bat. Dragons left him stranded at second in the first. Just off the outside corner. It's just where you want to see an 0-2 pitch thrown. Not the best pitch for the batter to square up, but close enough to tempt the umpire to ring him up. Breaking ball upstairs, 2-2. Dragons back in action Wednesday evening at 5 p.m. A nine-inning single game against Barton. Jackson fouls this one. Longview's first base coach knows best just to avoid that one. Dives out of the way. Not sure Coach Cervantes would have been quick enough to make that move. Probably would have pulled a hamstring in the process. Jackson's bidding on him another base hit, and he does just that, his fifth single of today. So doing exactly what you want a leadoff man to do. He led off the top of the first with a single, does the same here in the third. That'll bring up Cameron Hillbrenner. Center fielder for the Lakers. Grady with a throw to first. Jackson back safely. Hillbrenner was 1 for 2 in the first game of today's doubleheader. Third inning single. Struggled defensively. Jackson takes off. Dragons a little late covering. Gets the steal. Pitch was a strike. With Doge at second and Hellman at short, you've got two guys playing positions they're not used to playing, and so possibly a little lack of communication between the two as to who was going to cover. Stevens made a beautiful throw. Put it right on the bag. Swing and foul tipped. 0-2 the count to Hillbrenner. A lot of people out riding, taking a slow drive through Cary Park. Just beyond right field to Salt City Splash Swim Complex. About a month too early for that to be open. Got the Hutchinson Zoo around the corner. Ball upstairs. Kirkard checking Jackson at second. And the 1-2 pitch. There's a sharply hit ball to Hoover. Brady can't handle that one. It's going to be his second error of the game. It's going to put Lakers at first and third with nobody out here in the top of the third. It's going to bring up Dalton Bielmer. Bielmer, the right fielder. Had a double and a couple of flyouts in the first game today. Takes his pitch just outside. This one inside. Bielmer spins out of the way. Count now 2-0. Kirkard gets his sign from Stevens. Bielmer fouls this one back. Stevens and Steckline over to give it a look. Lands on the roof over the seating area. Just to the right side of the press box. Kirkhart checks the runners at the corners. Big rip by Bielmer, sends this one straight back to the screen. Count remains 2-2. Nobody down here in the top of the third. This one's in the dirt. It's going to give Hillbrenner the chance to move down to second on the wild pitch. Puts a pair of runners in scoring position. Stevens did a good job of keeping that one in front of him. Full count now to Bielmer. Kirkhart misses just low. Good looking pitch. Couldn't get the umpire to bite. That walk is going to load the bases with nobody out and prompt a visit to the mound by Blue Dragon head coach Ryan Schmidt. Likely to be one of those visits we saw yesterday. Only one person doing the talking. This time, though, he's delivering a little bit of a message to his infielders. And he knows with Cooper getting some rest in this makeshift infield, we've got guys in positions who aren't used to being in those positions. Conversation at this visit's directed at two people, one of those being Brady Hoover, the other one being Grady Kirkhart. We see a lot of ball players listening and nodding their heads. So that's going to bring up for the Lakers Jordan Barba, second baseman. Barba's hit the ball well this weekend. First pitch called strike. Bases loaded, nobody down here in the top of the third. Lakers had the bases loaded 3 times in the first game today. This time Barber grounds one to Hoover. He's going to bring it home to Stevens. It was a low throw, but Garrett did an amazing job of digging that one out of the dirt. He had to block it first and then secure it in the glove so he could make sure he gets the out, which they're able to do. So the bases will remain loaded. Barber reaches on the fielder's choice. Jackson's forced out at the plate. 5-1 if you're scoring at home with us. This one's lined to center on a rope. Hackle makes the catch. Hillbrenner had taken a few steps off the bag, so he had to go back and re-tag, and by the time he did that, it was too late. So Litkin really tattooed it, but to no avail. That's going to leave him loaded now with 2 outs. So a mental error by Hillbrenner does not allow the Lakers to take the lead. Brings up Heriberto Wyatt. Strike called. Evens the count 1-1. Just misses. Low by Kirkhart. 2-1 the count. And this one's flown by Wyatt. Again, giving it a charge. Hackle back to the warning track, makes the catch. Great work by Grady Kirkhart. Bases loaded, nobody out. Gets the next 3 batters. Leaves the bases loaded by the Lakers for the 4th time today. 3 times in the first game of the doubleheader. 1 time now in this game. After 2.5, we've got no score. So bottom of the 3rd inning of a scoreless game. Game 4 of this weekend series. Hutchinson's taken the first 3. The 9th batter in the Blue Dragon lineup, Ryan Steckline, first baseman in this game, will lead things off. First pitch strike from the lefty. Grill Hessel. Steckline swings, fouls the next pitch back. 0-2 count. It's been his nemesis so far this season. It's where you got to be ready to make contact, keep the at-bat alive. This one chopped up the middle. Jackson fields it deep, and Steckline beats it out for an infield single. Steckline made good contact, sent that one deep. Jackson made a good play going to his left to field it, but had no chance to get the runner. So a leadoff single. Steckline's first base hit of the season. Hackle back to the top of the order. First pitch, outside corner. Nolan leading things off. He's a leadoff batter for the Dragons in this top of the order. Second batter this inning. Gets the bunt down. Grill Hessel fields, doesn't even consider second. Hackle executes the sacrifice. Gracel made a quick throw down to second, trying to catch Steckline napping or turning too much. Looking at third. To no avail. That'll bring up Michael Hellman. Hellman up now, 1 away. Steckline at second. Grill Hessel on the mound. Hellman turns on this one, gets ahead of it. Sends it a long ways, but foul. Off of one of the storage sheds beyond the Blue Dragon locker room. Fortunately, Coach Cervantes' truck is right behind that storage shed, so he needs to thank that shed on his way to his truck this evening. 0-1 the count to Hellman. High and tight, evens it up 1-1. Hellman struck out in the first, something he's done only 11 other times this season. So the odds are not in the favor of him doing that again. This one's in the dirt. Blocked by the catcher, Cooper. Steckline stayed put. 2-1 now the count. We're in the bottom of the third, scheduled for 9. Hellman with a sharp base hit to left. Let's see, he's going to send Steckline. Nope, now he's going to put the brakes on. Wyatt charged that one, fielded it cleanly. Made a great play to keep Steckline at third. Brings up Bobby Morganson, the left fielder. Lefty-lefty matchup here. First pitch for a strike. Bobby walked in his first at bat. First and third now, one out. Takes strike two. Grill Hessel, a quick worker on the mound. Bobby steps out, composes himself. Takes this one upstairs. 1-2. Grill Hessel goes to first. Here's the 1-2 count, fouled away by Morganson. Sends that one back. Over the dugout, over the seating area, over the chain link fence, possibly even over the dike between the stadium and the Arkansas River. Swing and a miss. Bobby didn't want to, couldn't stop himself. That's the second out of the inning. So the Dragons not taking advantage of the situations here with a runner in scoring position. Brings up third baseman Brady Hoover. Brady grounded into an inning-ending double play in the first. Pitch away, 1-0. Ball two down low. Hoover swings and sends this one high to left. Wyatt under it and misses it. Steckline scores. Here comes Hellman. That's going to be a double for Brady Hoover. Wyatt did not look comfortable pursuing that ball.
He just misplayed it. Okay.
Grill Hessel does not look pleased at all. And it's important for a pitcher in this situation to regain his composure and get out of the inning with minimal damage. 2 runs that probably shouldn't have scored, but did, to give the Dragons a 2-0 lead. It's going to bring up Wyatt Divis. Divis reached on a hit by pitch in the second. Takes this one upstairs for a ball. Called strike to Divis, evens the count at 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. Nice cut by Divis. Dragons have scored 2 in this inning. Hoover at second, 2 away. Leading this game 2-0. Ball 2 outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second. 2 runs across. There's the 2-2 to Divis. Strike 3. That'll end the inning.
He's swinging better now.
2 runs across for Hutchinson here in the bottom of the 3rd, and after 3, they lead it 2-0. Johnny Luster leading things off for the Lakers of Longview Metropolitan Community College system in Kansas City. Pretty decent baseball player came out of the MCC system at Maple Woods. Here Luster lifts this one back behind third base. Hellman runs it down, catches it in fair territory, shallow left field for the first out of the inning. Player that went on still playing in the major leagues, had a pretty good career with the Cardinals, now the Angels. Albert Pujols played at MCC Maple Woods. Ryan Gracel at the plate here in the 4th for Longview. Gracel struck out looking in the 2nd. Kirkhart quickly ahead, 1-2. And makes quick work of Gracel. Strikes him out for the 2nd time. Gracel tried to check his swing. Unsuccessful at doing so. Goes down on strikes for the 2nd time today. Brings up the catcher Josh Cooper. Kirkhart starts Cooper off with a strike. Next pitch is up high, 1-1. I've said it multiple times, but it bears repeating what a gorgeous day today is. There's Cooper with a sharp base hit to left. So a 2-out single by the 9-hole hitter. He's going to get back to the top of the order, and Dylan Jackson. Jackson's 2 for 2 today, was 3 for 3 in game 1 of the doubleheader. So it's not a bad thing that he's coming up with 2 outs. Cooper with a short lead at first. Jackson swings, fouls this one off into the Laker bullpen. Diving attempt by somebody in the bullpen is unsuccessful. Jackson steps out. Kirkhart getting his signs, makes a quick pick over to first. Cooper back safely. Off-speed pitch up high. Evens the count 1-1. Final score from Colby. Barton has swept today's doubleheader and the 4-game series from the Trojans. That's 11 in a row for the Cougars. They're now 19-9 in the conference. Dragons are 22-6 with a 3-game lead over the Cougars. Cougars will come here Wednesday night at 5 p.m. for a single 9-inning game that will not count in the conference standings. Colby falls to 17-11 in the league. Here's a high pop-up behind first base. Steckline moving over. Makes the catch. That'll end the inning. Kirkhart now with 4 straight shutout innings to start this one. Dragons lead it 2-0. Blue Dragons second baseman Caden Dogay. Yes, second baseman in this game. We're used to hearing third baseman. Shane Cooper getting some rest. So the Dragons have juggled their infield. Caden swings and fouls the first one down the third base line. Fouled out to the catcher in his first at bat. Also first pitch swinging in that at bat. Lifts this one high in foul territory. First baseman Graysel moves over and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So a pop out by Dogay brings up Marquise Doherty. Doherty struck out looking in the second. First pitch down low to Marquise. The 1-0 pitch is outside, 2-0. Pitch looked good, but ball 3. And that one Marquise thought was ball 4. Ended up being strike 1. Has to go back, pick up the bat. 3-1 now the count. Never know with an umpire. Sometimes that throwing the bat away expands the strike zone. This one's fouled back. Just over the press box. Lands on the middle roof. Now it's a full count to Marquise. Full count, 1 away. Grell Hessel brings it. Low and inside. Marquise is going to reach on a walk with 1 away. Here in the bottom of the 4th. That'll bring up the catcher, Garrett Stevens. Stevens, like Doherty, struck out looking in his first at bat. Garrett's a freshman from Lenexa, Shawnee Mission Northwest product. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Toss over to first. Doherty back easily. Stevens fouls this one away. Evens the count. Ball and a strike. Ball 2 to Stevens. Dragons leading this one 2-0. Batting in the bottom of the 4th. 1 away. Doherty at first. Stevens puts a charge into this one to center. Hillbrenner's got a beat on it. With the struggles Hillbrenner had in the first game, you are running hard out of the gate anytime you hit one that direction. That'll be the second out of the inning. Bring up Ryan Steckline. Steckline got an infield single in the 3rd inning. Now comes up with 2 away. Doherty at first. Steckline swings, sends this one to the gap in left center. Hillbrenner had a beat on it, makes the catch. That'll end the 4th. After 4, the Dragons lead it 2-0. Center fielder Cameron Hillbrenner leading things off for the Lakers. Fouls the first pitch down the 3rd base line. Hillbrenner reached on an error last time up. Left stranded at third, in the third. Now facing an 0-2 count against Kirkhart here in the top of the fifth. Nice pitch by Grady. Sorry about that, Grady. We got a Grady and a Brady. Third pitch just off the edge. 1-2 the count. Breaking ball gets the call that time. Hillbrenner strikes out looking. Grady working very efficiently, just past the 60 pitch mark here in the top of the fifth. He's now going to face Dalton Bielmer. Flew out in the first, walked in the third. First pitch, a ball. Swing and a miss evens the count at 1-1. This one's outside, 2-1. Dragons with an improvised defense today. Shane Cooper getting rest in the second game of today's doubleheader. Bielmer sends this one deep to center field. Hackle goes back, takes a peek, and this one's gone. Cuts the Dragon lead in half. Now 2-1. My memory's not failing me. That's only the second home run hit this weekend, and both have been by the Lakers. None for the Blue Dragons. Last four-game home series, the Dragons hit, I believe, 14 of them against Dodge City. So the power game is definitely a part of the Blue Dragon offense. But it has not been this weekend, but they've still won the first three games of the series. So you take the wins how you get them. Foul ball. Counts now 0-2 to Jordan Barba. Brady Hoover playing third for the Dragons. Michael Hellman at short. Caden Doge at second. Ryan Steckline at first. Garrett Stevens behind the plate. This one's fouled. Out of play to the right. Bobby Morganson in left. Nolan Hackle in center. Marquise Doherty in right. Gage Burns tossing down in the Blue Dragon bullpen. Not working too quickly. Probably just starting to get loose. Possible appearance later. One away here in the top of the fifth. Breaking ball from Kirkhart. Barba knew it. Showed some frustration with himself for letting that one go by for the second out here in the fifth. It's going to break up. Jacob Litkin. Litkin, the third baseman. Reached on an error and flew out in his first two appearances. Dragons now 37-11 on the year, 22-6 in the conference. Still holding a three-game lead in the conference over the Cougars from Barton Community College. Colby is now 5 back after Barton swept the four-game series from Colby this weekend. Here's the 2-1 pitch, swung and missed by Litkin. And Litkin serves the 2-2 pitch into center field for a base hit. So the two-out single is
going to bring up the left fielder, Heriberto Wyatt. Wyatt hit it hard in his last at bat, but flew out to center. Part of that contingent in the third inning, where the Lakers had the bases loaded and nobody out and failed to score. Takes first pitch low for a ball. Had him loaded, nobody out. Grounded into a fielder's choice, got the force at home, and the next two batters flew out to center. Ball two inside. Probably could have scored one on the first fly out to center. But the runner had, it was more of a line drive than a fly ball. The runner at third started to break for the plate. Then realizing that it was going to be caught, tried to go back and tag up. By then it was too late. Wyatt fouls that one away. Counts 2-1. Litteken at first. 2 away. 1 across for the Lakers here in the top of the fifth. The Biomer home run. An impressive shot to straightaway center. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Kirkhart checks the runner. Runner's off. Ball 3. Throw down to second to Doge. Perfectly thrown by Stevens to end the inning. You could not have placed that one any better. Doge just had to hold his glove there. The ball fell into it. Littken slid right into it. So the Lakers get one, but the Dragons still lead it. 2-1 as we head to the bottom of the fifth. And we're halfway home at Hobart-Detter in Game 4. Head to the bottom of the fifth of this 9-inning game. Blue Dragons center fielder Nolan Hackle. First pitch foul down the right field line. Nolan 1 for 1, triple to lead off the game. Swings and misses at that one, 0-2. Triples to lead off the game. Sacrifice bunt in the third. Here's the 0-2 offering. Turns on that one, gives it a ride, but it's going to be foul. Deep into the Laker bullpen. Just shy of the fire hydrant. Count remains 0-2. Nolan lines that one hard back to the pitcher. It's going to be an infield single. Would have been a base hit to center. Grauhusel made somewhat of a kick save, either intentionally or on accident. It may have found him, and him not finding it deflects it to the second baseman Barba. Made a nice play, but just couldn't get the throw there in time. So an infield single for Hackle to get things started in the Blue Dragon fifth. Brings up Michael Hellman. Hellman singled in his last at bat, scored on the Brady Hoover double. Hellman puts this one down, wants it foul. That's one of those situations with Hellman at the plate and bunting. Coach Schmidt would probably be satisfied with a sacrifice, but really expects an infield single or a bunt single to get runners at first and second. It's the kind of ability Michael has. Grail Hessel to first, Hackle back easily. 0-1 the count. Bottom of the fifth. Nobody down, Hackle at first. Morganson on deck. Hackle took off. There's a high chopper to third. Throw across. Gets Hellman. Hackle moves up to second. So now one away. Runner in scoring position. Brings up Bobby Morganson, who has walked and struck out. Bobby, the big lefty from Omaha, 6'4", 200. Just like last time, Grail Hessel throws him an off-speed pitch on the outside corner to start things off. Last time he came back with that same pitch again. Let's see if Bobby's looking for that or something else. Hackle bluffs. Fastball, inside corner. Grail Hessel changed things up on him. Bobby with a deep breath, steps back, collects his thoughts. Grail Hessel obviously frustrated, motions to the umpire to get him in the box. Umpire says he called time. Grail Hessel put a little extra on that. He was obviously frustrated. Put something on it, but nowhere close to being a strike. So it's 1-2 now to Morganson. Gage Burns continues to toss in the Blue Dragon bullpen. There's an off-speed pitch fouled away by Bobby. A couple of guys playing catch in the Laker bullpen, but I don't know that they're warming up or just playing catch. 1-2 count, bottom five. Nolan Hackle at second. Led off with an infield single, moved to second on the Michael Hillman ground out. Ball upstairs, 2-2. Grail Hessel wanted that one. Kind of shook his head at the umpire. Brady Hoover on deck. Morganson grounds this one to Jackson at short. Throw comes across, gets the out. Hackle moves up to third. So Hackle's now 90 feet closer where a wild pitch or pass ball could get him home. Going to bring up the third baseman, Brady Hoover. His last at bat in the third, Brady hit a high fly ball to deep left that probably should have been caught, but wasn't, resulting in a double that scored the 2 runs for the Dragons. First pitch, a ball. Second one down low. 2-0 the count. Grail Hessel comes set. There's a base hit to left field that's going to bring Hackle home. So Uncle Brady Hoover comes through again for the Dragons. His third RBI is the third Dragon run of the game. Now brings to the plate the Marshal. Wyatt Earp Divis. Hoover at first. 2 outs. Ball down low. Dragons now lead it 3-1. Off-speed pitch for a strike.
You failed Kansas history class?
Lakers got a run on the top of this inning on the Bielmer home run. Dragons come right back to get that run back, trying to get some more. Fastball down and away, 2-1 to Divis. Nice crowd on hand at Hobart-Detter. Foul ball. Out of play, evens the count at 2-2. Come join us Wednesday evening. Spend the evening at the ballpark. A single 9-inning game. Then next weekend, the Dragons host the Pratt Beavers in a 4-game series. Doubleheader Saturday, doubleheader Sunday. There's a high chopper from Divis. First baseman fields it. Looks to second first. Can't get it. By the time he turns to first and throws to Grellhessel, Divis had beat him to the bag. So an infield single by Divis. That's a play where the first baseman, Grayson, with 2 outs, shouldn't even look at second. Just go to first and end the inning. So let's see if Caden Doge can make him pay for this one.
That's the rarest play, singling to first base.
So now the Dragons have runners at first and second with 2 away. First pitch to Doge's called strike. Doge's fouled out to the catcher, fouled out to the first baseman. He's due to square one up, hit one hard in fair territory. Hit the ball well yesterday in the doubleheader. Takes this one, called strike 2. Hoover at second, Divis at first. Just off. Nice spot. Grellhessel snaps his glove as he catches that one from the catcher. It's one of those we've seen often today. 0-2, 1-2. You want the call, but you know it's off the plate just enough. You're not going to get the call necessarily. Doge takes time. Now he's ready. Grellhessel gets his sign and delivers the 1-2. Doge puts a charge into this one. Well hit to left. It's going to be over Wyatt's head and rolled to the fence. Here comes Hoover. Here comes Divis. And Caden with a clutch 2-run double. Puts the Dragons up 5-1. Now in the bottom of the 5th. No left fielder was going to catch that ball. Dragons have now put 3 across here in the bottom of the 5th. All with 2 outs. Caden with a double and 2 RBIs. This one inside to Marquise Doherty. Marquise walked in his last appearance. Caden had a pair of doubles in the second game yesterday, so his 3rd double of the weekend. Big swing from Marquise, fouls it back. Stand corrected. Caden had one in the first game yesterday as well, so that's double number 4. This one's in the dirt, gets away from the catcher. Doge's to third. Catcher's still looking for it. Caden made a move. He thought about it. Grellhessel was off the mound covering the plate by the time the catcher got to it, so. Boy, and the more I read, the more I find Caden that was actually the 5th double. He hit one in the 6th inning and came home to score the winning run. Longview coach came out to question something from the home plate umpire. Shook his head as he strolled back to the dugout, so didn't like the answer he got. 2-1 the count, 2 away. Doge now at third. Doherty at the plate. Marquise pops this one up high on the infield. Shortstop Dylan Jackson comes in, makes the catch, picks up his sunglasses that fell off his hat, and that's the end of the inning. But the Dragons get 3 off 4 hits to take a 5-1 lead after 5. We'll be back in just a minute. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Gage Burns on the mound now for the Blue Dragons. Grady Kirkhart's day is done. An impressive at him. Here's a swing. A swinging bunt by Wyatt. Burns picks it up, fires to Steckline for the out. Nice play by Gage to pounce off the mound. Barehanded and fire it across. I think the throw to first probably had more juice on it than the pitch home. Kirkhart threw 84 pitches, 5 strikeouts, allowed just 1 run through 5 innings. He's the pitcher of record. He can win it, he can't lose it. One down now here in the top of the 6th. Brings up Johnny Luster. Luster takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. And strokes the next one into left. Sharp single. So the Lakers get their first base runner of the inning. First baseman Ryan Gracel coming up. 0 for 2. Struck out looking, struck out swinging. Against Grady Kirkhart. He's as happy as anyone to see Kirkhart sitting in the dugout right now. First pitch from Burns, called strike. That one was called a ball outside. We heard it very clearly up here. The question come from the Blue Dragon dugout as to where that pitch was. Umpire motioned outside. If we had K-zone at this level, it might show differently. It might not. 2-1 the count now to Gracel.
It's an ideal double play situation. Called strike 2. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Breaking ball just misses low. Full count. Here's the full ground ball to Steck line. He boots it. Johnny Lester's going to round second. He was running on the play, so he was already to second. And that makeshift infield has committed its 3rd error of the game. So Gracel reaches on the air at first. Luster moves to 3rd. The Lakers now have runners at the corners with 1 away. Brings up Josh Cooper. Cooper with a sharp single to the left in his last at bat. Now gets a sharp single to right. It's going to play to run for the Lakers. Gracel puts on the brakes at second. That'll get back to the top of the order. And shortstop Dylan Jackson. Jackson popped out in his last at bat, but prior to that, had 5 singles on the day, 3 in the first game, 2 in this game. Swing and a miss by Jackson. Burns jumps ahead 1-0. Score 5-2 now, top of the 6th. Gets the bunt down, and it's a good one. Somewhat in no man's land. Michael Hellman at short has to field it. Hoover went to cover 3rd. Burns' delivery took him to the first base side. So a bunt single, his 2nd of the day of the game for Jackson, his 6th single of the doubleheader. And the bases are loaded. Lakers have had the bases loaded once previously in this game. First pitch strike to Hillbrenner. They had them loaded twice in the first game, if not 3 times. 3 times in the first game, once in this one. So now the 5th time they've had them loaded today. The first 4 times they scored no runs. This time they're going to get at least 1. Nice play by Hellman. Goes deep in the hole. Snags the ball in shallow left field. Throws to Brady Hoover. Great job by Brady being at the bag. This is possibly the first game. If not the first, it's only the 2nd or 3rd. He's played 3rd this season. Went straight to the bag. They were able to get the fielder's choice and cut down the runner at 3rd for the 2nd out. So the run does score, but now we have 2 outs and runners at 1st and 2nd. Brings up Bielmer. Bielmer gave one a ride in the last at bat. Over the fence in center. So the 6-5 force out takes care of Josh Cooper. And Bielmer's up now. 2 down. Teammates at 1st and 2nd. First pitch a strike. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Burns challenging Bielmer with the fastball and winning that duel. Counts now 0-2. That's where Bielmer's thinking, what am I going to see? Is he going to come back at me with another fastball? Is he going to throw something just off the plate, or am I going to see something off speed? Only one person knows. 2, hopefully. Hopefully pitcher and catcher both. And he challenges him and blows it right by him to get out of the inning.
The Lakers get 2, but a great job by Bernsey. Dragons lead it 5-3. Longview going to the bullpen here in the bottom of the 6th. Grail Hessel's day is done. The tall, lanky right-hander Derek Odell now in to pitch. Stevens takes the first pitch, lifts it into shallow right. Barba goes back, second baseman makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. Odell made a brief appearance yesterday's doubleheader. Back now for some more action. Ryan Steckline now at the plate. Steckline has an infield single, scored a run in the 3rd. Hit a liner to left center that Hillbrenner ran down in his last at bat. First pitch outside for ball 1. Down low, 2-0. Two and 0, 2-1, 3-1. Hitters, counts that hitters love to see. See if Steckline gets something here to turn on. Gives that one. It's a shot under the glove of the first baseman. Steckline reaches for the second time. Steckline with his second hit of the game. Made good contact with that one. That's going to bring up the top of the order for the Dragons. Nolan Hackle. And after 2 for 3, Steckline's day is going to be done as Jordan Luthai comes in to run for him. Steckline was nursing a hamstring injury early this spring. And with a 5-3 game, every run is critical for the Dragons. They want a little bit more speed at first. Hackle
Fouls the first one off. Only Coach Schmidt knows what he's going to do, but my gut tells me Luthai's going to go into second, Dogue's going to go back to third, and Hoover's going to move over to first. But we'll know in the top of the seventh. Here's the 0-1 to Hackle. Inside. For a ball. Evens the count at 1-1. Two and one the count now to Nolan Hackle. Hackle, sophomore from Lincoln. Turns on that one. Sends it straight back. Blue Dragon baseball team manager and disc jockey Caitlin Cervantes claims not to have flinched, but the truth, this one's outside. And a balk is called, so no pitch. Luthai moves to second. It's the second time we think we've seen a balk this weekend. These are different umpires than yesterday. Neither umpire was very demonstrative. We did hear somebody yell balk, but for all you know, that could come from the stands. Swing and a miss by Hackle. Goes down swinging for the second out. So now Luthai's in scoring position at second. It's going to bring up Michael Hellman. Hellman grounded out to third in his last at bat. Takes this one just off the outside corner for a ball. He grounded out, but it moved Nolan Hackle around the bases in his last at bat. Hackle ended up scoring, so it was a productive at bat. Breaking ball up high. 2-0. Jaden Big Poppy Simmons starting to toss in the Blue Dragon bullpen. Action also in the Longview bullpen. We don't have a good, we can see the catcher from the press box. We don't have a good angle on the pitcher, so we don't know who might be warming up. Getting word from the far end of the press box. They've got a better shot at it. It's Kevin Broadus, the side armor that we saw yesterday. Luthai gets his lead. 3-0 pitch, called strike. Normally on a 3-0 count, batters are taking. When you've got the leading hitter in the country, sometimes he might get a green light. Only he and Coach Schmidt know for sure in that situation what the situation was, but wasn't exactly a hitter's pitch anyway. This one's hit sharply to short. Jackson scoops it up, fires it across. And that was a lot closer than the casual out call it got from the umpire. So, Coach Schmidt even looks that direction, but elects not to question it, because questioning it typically doesn't work for the coach anyway. 5-3, Blue Dragons lead it as we head to the seventh. We head to the 7th. Blue Dragons leading Longview 5-3. Jordan Barber to lead things off, facing the Blue Dragons' third pitcher of the game, Jaden Simmons, the big righty. From Denver, Colorado, 6'5", 240, the sophomore. Barber takes the next pitch, sends it back, even the count 1-1. Poppy making his first appearance of the weekend. Misses outside. 2-1.
Gets past him. He got past him for a ball.
3-1 now the count to Barba. Barba struck out looking his last appearance. Sends one's in the hole to short. Hellman cuts it off, fires it across. Just a tad late. Great play by Michael, great play by Brady Hoover at first to pick the short hop. Barba just legged it out. Brings up Jacob Litteken, the third baseman. Singled in his last at bat. Sends this one through the hole. And a single to left to put the first two Lakers on here in the top of the 7th. Lakers not going away. Still very much in reach. Dragons leading at 5-3. Brings to the plate the left fielder, Heriberto Wyatt. And just by the way he's grabbing the bat as he's taking his swings, he's, I think a bunt is what's in order. And I guessed wrong. Takes the pitch for a strike. He was working that hand up the handle a little bit as he was watching Simmons warm up or get the sign. Owen won the count. Off-speed pitch. Fools Wyatt. 0-2 now the count. So in all likelihood, the bunt, if it were to be called at some point, it's not going to be now. This one's in the dirt, swings. Batter's going to be out because first base was occupied. But with the ball in the dirt, the runners are able to advance. So in a sense, even though it's a strikeout, it works like a sacrifice.
That goes down as a wild pitch, right? As if.
So if his job was to move the runners over, I guess you could say he did it, but in an unconventional manner. Johnny Luster at the plate, fooled on that first one. Swing and a miss. So now runners at second and third. Moving up on the wild pitch, strike 3 to Wyatt. Just off the outside part of the plate. 1-1. Poppy. Jaden came into the game last week against Garden City. First game of the series, Dragons were leading at 14-13. They'd scored 4 runs on 1 hit in the top of the 7th to take the 14-13 lead. Ball 2 just up and away. Jaden comes in. Broncbusters get a run to tie it and then load the bases with nobody out. So they had the winning run 90 feet away. Jaden induces a pop out, gets a strikeout and a line out to send the game to extra innings. 3-1 now the count to Johnny Luster. Runners at second and third. Base hit could tie it. Strike two. Full count now to Luster. Luster singled and scored in his last at bat in the sixth. Lakers have 3 runs on 10 hits. Called strike 3. Beautiful pitch by Jaden. So now 2 away. The first baseman, Ryan Gracel, comes to the plate. Tying run at second. First pitch down low. Simmons looks in it. Stevens for the sign. Next pitch just off the plate. Gracel, the 8-hole hitter. Simmons needs to be challenging him. Coach is going to want you to go after a guy and not try to get too cute. Now it's 3-0. So after a great looking strike 3 to get Luster looking, Simmons struggling to find the strike zone here against Gracel. Sends that one right down the middle on the 3-0 pitch. 3-1 now. Barba at third, Litkin at second. 3-1 pitch is lined just foul down the left field line. Dragons caught a break there. That would have tied it. Now we've got a full count. What will Gracel see here? Simmons worked it back to a full count after falling behind 3-0. Here's a delivery. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Gracel couldn't pull the trigger, slams his bat in disgust, and Simmons gets out of it. Nothing across for the Lakers. Dragons lead it 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Derek Odell back out for his second inning of work for the Longview Lakers, facing Bobby Morganson here in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch outside, 1-0. Second pitch just off the outside edge. Morganson ahead in the count, 2-0. Grady Kirkhart got the start for the Blue Dragons today. Strong 5 innings. Swing and a miss by Bobby. Makes the count 2-1. Allowing just that 1 run in 5 innings. The Barber will shave a few strokes off his ERA.
Way to work one in there.
Ball 3 down and inside. 3-1 the count now to Bobby Morganson. Buss grounded out sharply to the shortstop in his last at bat. Also has a walk and a strikeout on the day. Rounds another one sharply to Jackson at short. Comes up, fires it across to get the out. So 1 away here for the Dragons in the bottom of the 7th. One thing you can count on with Bobby is there are no cheap outs. He's going to hit it hard the vast majority of the time. That's going to bring up Brady Hoover. Brady now moves across the diamond at first, as we projected he might. Ball upstairs. Caden Doge went to third. Luthai came in at second. Hellman stayed at short, so he's the only one that's in the same defensive position in the infield that he started the game at. Big swing by Brady, fouls it off. 1-1 the count. Brady singled to left last time at the plate. Here's the 1-1 upstairs. Odell misses. Nice fielding play on the foul grounder by Coach Ryan Schmidt. Shows his experience. Brady fouls this one back. Straight at Thomas Nelson. There's a sharp one hit to right, and that's going to get by the right fielder. Brady rounds first, headed to second for a double. With 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Brady took that outside pitch and went with it. Stroking it to right. Scooted by the right fielder and reached the fence. Brings up Wyatt Davis, the designated hitter. Wyatt singled and scored in the 5th. Comes up now with a runner in scoring position. Pitch outside. Caden Doge on deck. Pitch down low, ball 2 to Davis. Wyatt turns on this one, gives it a charge to center. Hoover's at the bag, tagging up. Hilbrenner makes the catch. Hoover's going to tag and advance to third on the play. That one had Hilbrenner turning and spinning just a little bit, and he had some challenges in game 1 of today's doubleheader. But he composed himself and made the catch. Hoover moves to third. And that brings up Caden Doge now with 2 away. Caden takes called strike one. Caden with a double in his last at bat. 5 doubles on the weekend. Strike 2 called. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Off speed. Caden turns on that one and gives it a ride. Hillbrenner can only look up and watch it clear the fence, clear the trees. Hillbrenner slams the fence in disgust. A 2-run Dragon dinger for Caden Doge with 2 outs on an 0-2 pitch. The most painful of offerings for the Lakers. Dragons now lead it 7-3. Brock Schaefer now pinch hitting for Doherty. First pitch of ball. Takes ball 2, high and away. Schaefer was the starting right fielder in game 1 yesterday. Walked and struck out. Officially 0 for 1 so far this weekend. Ahead in the count, 3-0. Takes this one for a strike. Taking all the way. Brock and several others didn't agree with the strike 2 call there. But again, there's only one opinion that matters. Full count now to Brock. Low and inside. So eventually he gets the base on balls. Just a pitch later than he expected to. That will bring up the catcher, Garrett Stevens. Stevens popped out to second in the 6th. Comes up now with Schaefer at first. 2 down, Dragons with 2 across so far here in the bottom of the 7th on the Caden Doge home run to straightaway center field. Schaefer takes off, pitches outside. Catcher doesn't even begin to think about throwing. Did a good job of just keeping that one in front of him. So a stolen base for Brock gets him into scoring position. Coach Ryan Schmidt looking for more insurance. Called strike 1 to Stevens. Jordan Luthai on deck for the Dragons. He came in as a pinch runner for Ryan Steckline in the 6th. This one's in the dirt. Nice job by Cooper to keep it in front. Keep Schaefer at second. 2-1 the count. Odell looks in, gets his sign. Stevens turns on that. Charge. Puts a charge into it into the Blue Dragon bullpen. Two count now to Stevens. Takes a peek back at Schaefer. Schaefer dances a little bit. Here's the off-speed pitch. Gets Stevens swinging. That'll end the inning, but the Dragons add 2 and now lead it 7-3 after 7 complete. Welcome back to the top of the 8th. Hobart-Detter Field. Beautiful Cary Park, Hutchinson, Kansas. Dragons leading at 7-3. Jaden Simmons in for his second inning of work. Facing Josh Cooper, catcher for Longview. Batting in the 9 hole. Starts him off with a 1-1 count. Cooper singled in each of his last 2 at-bats. 2 for 3 on the day. Struck out looking his first time up. Swing and a miss. 1-2. We've been talking between innings about the amazing history of Hobart-Detter Field and some of the players who have played on this field, including a guy that played for the Yankees, had a pretty decent career by the name of Mickey Mantle. I believe he played here when he was playing for a team maybe out of Joplin. Cooper sends this one high to right, shallow. Brock Schaefer comes in, makes the catch for the first out of the inning. And back in the heyday of the summer collegiate team that was the Hutchinson Bronx, played here for many, many years. Guys like Roger Clemens, Rafael Palmero, Will Clark, Barry Bonds, Mike McFarland, who went on to catch for the Royals. Brett Butler had a long career, much of it with the Atlanta Braves. So much history. You just hope that the young men playing on this field today realize the guys they've shared this diamond with. Swing and a miss by Dylan Jackson. 1-1 the count. Jackson 3 singles in the first game, 3 singles in this game. Doing just what you want a leadoff man to do. Takes this one inside, 2-1. Just over a month from now, the Hutchinson Monarchs, the current version of summer collegiate baseball, will kick off their season. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 11 or 12 Blue Dragons expected to play for the Monarchs this summer. Jackson fouls that one back to the parking lot. Full count. Blue Dragon bullpen is quiet. A couple of people working in the Longview bullpen. Here comes the full count delivery from Simmons. Fouled back. Jackson 3 for 4. His only time being retired by the Dragons was a pop out, foul pop up to first. And he walks him. So Jackson reaches for the 4th time today. That'll bring up the center fielder, Cameron Hillbrenner. Hillbrenner came up in the 6th with the bases loaded, nobody out. Didn't want to swing, but couldn't stop himself, down 0-1. Came up with the bases loaded, nobody out. Hit a ground ball to Brady Hoover at third. Brady got the force out at the plate. It was a big part of the Blue Dragons being able to avoid even further damage with that bases loaded situation. 1-1 now the count to Hillbrenner. There's a sharp base hit straight back up the middle. Hackle gets it in. Jackson moves to second.
So the Lakers not going away. The breeze blowing out, and Bielmer sent one out in an earlier at bat. There's nothing safe about a 4-run lead. Runners at first and second. One away. Bielmer homered in the 5th, struck out swinging in the 6th. His strikeout in the 6th with a huge one for Gage Burns. Burnsy challenged him on 3 straight pitches. Swing and a miss, swing and a miss, swing and a miss. And that ended the inning and the Longview threat. Simmons asked Stevens to go through the signs again. Bielmer checks his swing, 2-0 the count. Fouls that one back, 2-1. Dodge City fell to Seward in the first game of their doubleheader today. Leads in the second, 7-1. Just off the plate, 3-1 the count. That gives Dodge City 10 losses in the Jayhawk West. And the Dragons have 6, and will go into next weekend at their final series with 6. And having swept Dodge in their 4-game series, Dodge cannot catch the Blue Dragons. Bielmer sends this one high to right. Schaefer under it. Runner at second tagging. Throw cut off by Hellman. So Jackson moves to third on the fly out to right. Hillbrenner stays at first. That'll bring Barber to the plate with now 2 down here in the top of the 8th. Dragons leading at 7-3. Brady Hoover comes in. Gives some word of advice to Simmons. Barber singled in his last at bat. Runners at the corners. Off-speed pitch just up high. Hillbrenner takes off from first. Stevens makes the throw. He double clutched. Hillbrenner gets in safely. Jackson stayed put at third, so now 2 runners in scoring position. 1-1 the count. Stolen base for Hillbrenner. Breaking ball just upstairs, 2-1. Strike 2 called. So Barton is the only team with a chance now to catch the Blue Dragons. They would have to sweep Cloud next weekend, and Pratt would have to sweep Hutchinson. Cloud is currently in 8th in the West. Swing and a miss by Barba. Poppy gets the strikeout to end the threat and end the 8th. Nothing across for the Lakers. Dragons go to the bottom, leading it 7-3.
Blake Thompson on the mound for the Lakers as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Jordan Luthai at the plate for the Dragons. Swings at the first pitch, fouls it straight back off the mat. Ball ricochets straight back out to the mound. Thompson picks it up. They're going to change it out for him. Luthai came in the 6th as a pinch runner for Ryan Steckline. Stayed in the game playing second, getting his first plate appearance. Grounds this one to third. Litkin makes the throw across to record the out. One down now here in the bottom of the 8th. That'll get us to the top of the order. Nolan Hackle, Blue Dragons center fielder.
Nice left view. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's really nice.
Single and a triple to go along with the strikeout and a sacrifice bunt. Takes his pitch inside. 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Hackle turns on it, sends it over to the Laker dugout. Woke up a couple of guys, I think. Good thing there was a net there. Sent a few scurrying. Here's the 1-1. Fouled away at the plate. 1-2 the count. Dragons leading this one 7-3. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Dragons wrap up this series. They'll have a couple days off. Play a 9-inning midweek game on Wednesday evening against Barton. And then face the Pratt Beavers next weekend in the final regular season contest. 4-game series. And then following that will be the first week of region play. So we'll need to get through next weekend, see how seedings shake out, and then we'll know. Hackle sends this one to right center. Hillbrenner on his horse, but he's not going to run it down. One hops it at the wall. Hackle's got a double. So, a single, a double, and a triple for Hackle in this one. As much as we like Nolan and would love to see him get a cycle, we really don't want him to have that opportunity. We'd like the game to end before he gets up again, unless, of course, the Blue Dragons happen to bat around this inning. Brings up Michael Hillman, the shortstop in this one. Off-speed pitch upstairs. Michael's 1 for 4 in this game. Base hit in third, scored a run. Comes back off speed again, this time finds the zone, evens the count 1-1. Hackle gets his lead off second. Oh, Michael takes this one right in the square of the back. It's going to put Dragons at first and second. That'll earn him some props in the dugout, reaching the Blue Dragon way. Brings up Bobby Morganson. Bobby, the big lefty, left fielder. He's grounded out to short his last 2 at-bats. Both sharply hit, both resulting in groundouts. 1-0 the count to Bobby. Hackle and Hellman getting their leads. This one off outside, 2-0.
We're talking last half inning about 3-0 now to Bobby. About the Dragons now holding a 3-game lead over Dodge City. Dodge will be hosting Cloud, which is currently in 8th in the West. Strike one called. Bobby taking all the way. And would have to sweep Cloud. The Dragons will be hosting 9th place Pratt and would have to be swept by Pratt. Bobby swings at this, lifts it high to left. Blake Moore settles under it. Hackle tagging, Hellman tagging. And both runners are going to advance on the long fly out by Bobby Morganson. So a pair of Dragons getting into scoring position. Brings up Brady Hoover, the first baseman. Brady with a double his last at bat. Started the game at third, moved to first. This one's a wild pitch. It's going to get back to the screen. Hackle's going to come home to score. Hellman rounds third, takes a peek, stays there. That's going to make it 8-3 Blue Dragons. One and 0 now, the count to Brady. Dragons have put runs on the board in 4 of the 8 innings. There's a pitch, grounded sharply to short. Jackson throws it across, retires Hoover, retires the Dragons in the bottom of the 8th. We go to the 9th, Hutchinson leading it 8-3. Jacob Litteken leading off the 9th inning for the Longview Lakers. Dragons leading this one 8-3. Jaden Simmons back on the mound for his 3rd inning of work. Starts Litteken off the fastball, inside corner, strike one. Dragons looking for the 4-game sweep. Litteken fouls this one away. If the Dragons hold on and get this one, it'll be their 12th straight win, 3rd consecutive 4-game sweep of a series. All of them done in impressive fashion. Here's the 0-2, outside 1-2. Litteken with a pair of singles on the day. Swing and a miss. Goes down swinging for the first out of the 9th inning. That'll bring up Blake Moore. Now in left field for the Lakers. Came in a couple innings ago. Defensively,
First pitch strike. Poppy working ahead. Looking to close the door here on the Lakers. Bounces that one up there. Stevens keeps it in front. That's one where Garrett walks out to Jaden and says, look, it's the ninth inning. We're up 5. Throw strikes. Dayton Lane continues to toss in the Blue Dragon bullpen. Down low, ball 2. Swing and a miss. 2-2 now the count. Bounces this one up there. Count's now full. Poppy looking to finish this one off. Just misses the inside part of the plate. That's going to put Blake Moore, excuse me. Bring up Johnny Luster, designated hitter for the Lakers in this game. Johnny struck out looking in his last at bat. 1 for 4 on the day. Called strike 1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Pitch misses, making it 1-2. Luster takes this, takes the 1-2 pitch, serves it into right field for a base hit. Now we've got 2 Lakers on. First and second. 1 away. Dayton Lane appears to be ready if called upon. Got a pinch hitter.
I must be hearing things then. My apologies.
Pitch hitting for the first baseman, Gracel.
What? Who was that? 7.
Pitch hitting for the Lakers will be number 7, Alex Letcher. First pitch down low. 1-0 the count. Runners at first and second. That one in there for a called strike. Evens it at 1-1. Blake Moore walked. Johnny Luster singled. Letcher fouls this one away. Count now 1-2. Foul ball in front of the Blue Dragon dugout. They've learned to just let it roll to a complete stop before trying to field it. Outside, 2-2 the count. Dragons lead this one 8-3. That one's in the dirt. Gets away from Stevens. Runners move up 90 feet. Now runners at second and third. Full count to Letcher. hits even 12 apiece. And 3 Dragon errors. So Dragons have 8 runs on 12 hits. Here's the payoff pitch. Misses inside. And that's going to prompt a visit to the mound from Blue Dragon head coach Ryan Schmidt. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a minute. Coach Schmidt wraps up the visit. Simmons stays in the game. Bases loaded. Tying runs now enter the on-deck circle. Big swing and a miss by Josh Cooper. Cooper flew out to right in his last at bat. Prior to that, had a pair of singles, 2 for 4 on the day. Also struck out looking. Oh, 1 pitch is low. Simmons trying to finish this one off. Dayton Lane juggling the baseball in the bullpen. He's ready when needed. Cooper steps out. Takes that one low. Ball 2. Blakemore at third, Johnny Luster at second, Letcher at first. This is lined into left. Morganson seemed a bit fooled, ends up making a shoestring catch to record the second out. So a fortunate play on a very, very well hit ball. Hit right at Bobby. Seemed to freeze just a little bit. So now 2 away, bases loaded. And that'll get him to the top of the order. And not the guy the Dragons won at the plate, Dylan Jackson. 3 for 4, been on base 4 times. Takes a cut at the first one, fouls it off to the right. Jackson with 3 singles, reached on a walk. Foul ball, fouled out to first. Simmons ahead in the count, 0-1. Deep breath by Jaden. Gets a sign. Comes set. Ball up high. Evens the count, 1-1. Just past the 2.5 hour mark of this ball game. That's a foul ball, check swing foul ball. Appeared to be traveling inside. Jackson tried to check it and would have, but the ball ended up finding the bat. So that's a strike, now 1-2. Strike 3 called. What a way to end it. He pulls an off-speed pitch out of the bag, which is not what Dylan Jackson was looking for. Completely froze him at the plate. Strikes out looking to end the game. Dragons take this one 8-3, sweep the entire series, taking all 4 games from the Lakers. Dragons Dragons return to action Wednesday night, 5 p.m., a 9-inning game against the Barton Community College Cougars. Dragons have now won 12 in a row, moved to 38-11 on the season, hold a 3-game lead in the Jayhawk West. They'll close out the season, the regular season, next Saturday and Sunday with a doubleheader hosting the Pratt Beavers. Thank you for tuning in today. We'll be back at you live from Hobart-Detter Wednesday evening. First pitch, 5 p.m. We'll be on the air shortly before that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Have what's left of your weekend. Have a great time with it, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you again for supporting Hutchinson Blue Dragon Baseball.